Hello and welcome to MODOT Traffic Update. This is Lisa Kuntz. She is the MODOT area engineer for North St. Louis County, right?
That is correct.
Okay, and she has some very important information to give to the residents of the North St. Louis area, and it has to do with the project that's been in the works for how long?
We've been studying I-270 since 2010. We started off with a planning study, and then 2013 we moved to the environmental study, so it's a long time coming.
Oh my gosh, okay. Well, first let's get this out of the way because some of our viewers might decide to switch the channel, so let's just tell them the important thing first is that there's a meeting.
Yes.
We'll talk about the particulars later. But
yes, so on December 15th, we're hosting the last public engagement of the NEPA study, which will be a public hearing at McCluer High School.
Okay, so there you go. Now you know. Now you can change the channel if you want to.
But please don't.
Don't. There you go. Okay. Now, why was the study conducted?
So we do these studies because we know that there's going to be environmental, and that includes natural and social impacts. So we want to make sure we look at what those impacts can be and study those. And in I-270 in particular, we're looking at from 70 to the Chain of Rocks River. It's 15 miles of urban interstate with, depending on how you count it, 19 interchanges. So we impact a lot of people. So that's why we're studying this, and we're studying it. We early on determined what those goals would be, and it's to improve congestion, it's to improve safety, it's to improve mobility and accessibility. And that's for all users. So not only cars, vehicles, but freight, transit users, even pedestrians and people that ride their bikes. So those are things that we high level looked at. And it was, I-270 was built in the 1960s, so we really knew that our infrastructure is aging. Now's the time for replacement. So we have two choices. We either replace in kind, or we're looking at our opportunities to improve our transit system, specifically in North St. Louis County.
And so I noticed that, and I go through different states, that other states, they study and look 15 years into the future, 20 years into the future.
Yes.
Is that part of what we're doing here?
Yes, it is. So not only do we look at existing traffic conditions, but we also, as part of our study, looked at forecasted. So what's traffic going to be like 20 years out? So we make it consistent for that long-range plan. Traffic's been growing, so that's something we look at, and also ways to improve safety, especially on I-270.
Yeah, safety, oh my gosh.
We see a lot of congestion-related accidents, or crashes, I should say.
Yeah, I moved from, I live south, so trying to get south to north in the morning is crazy, and trying to go north to south is really crazy. So I'm kind of looking forward to it personally.
Yes, so that's what we're trying to do, improving those interchanges, improving flow on 270 as well.
Okay, one quick question. Oklahoma, environmental assessment versus environmental impact study. There's two of them. What's the difference between those two?
So those are the levels of environmental studies. Most of our projects are actually what we call a CE, a category exclusion, where the impacts are minimal. Environmental assessment is that next stage. So that's where it's kind of known how impactful your transportation project can be. And then the EIS is when that's the environmental impactment statement. That is basically when you know you're going to have a lot of impacts, and usually it's your environmental impacts, like you're going through wetlands and everything imaginable, endangered species and stuff like that. So this quarter we stayed relatively close to our existing footprint. We didn't say we're going to move 270 north or south. We didn't look at those options. So we knew that we weren't quite sure it was a CE, but we thought it was kind of in between. So that's what really led us down that EA type of project here.
Okay. What is the proposed alternative MODOT's recommending for I-270?
So it's a long corridor. What we talked about earlier is 15 miles. Mainly, we're looking at improving our interchanges, specifically like the Lindbergh and 367 interchange. One of the issues we heard overwhelmingly from the public is you don't have much time to merge onto the interstate.
Right.
So we're going to make sure we give, our preferred alternative has enough time to accel, get onto the interstate, and decel and get off the interstate. So that's kind of big interchanges. The other big thing that we looked at was from Hanley Graham to Old Halls Ferry, we have Pershaw and Dunn that are run parallel. Pershaw not is segmented in that section, but run parallel to the interstate and are so closely spaced. Our preferred alternative is converting those outer roads to one way in each direction. Basically, Dunn would go westbound and Pershaw would go eastbound. And the reason we did that is because it limited those impacts to particularly the human environment, meaning we would have the property owners and the commercial retail in that area. The two-way, keeping those roads two-way and eliminating those two-way slip ramps from Dunn Road, from westbound 270 to Dunn Road, would have been very impactful to the surrounding community.
Yeah, and so that's definitely going to affect a lot of businesses in that area. So I'm sure there's a lot of businesses that are going to have questions.
Yeah.
So it's really going to be important for them to try and make that meeting next week.
Yes, that is definitely true. And we've also, as part of this process study, we have a community advisory group, which a lot of businesses are on that, and we've done a lot of stakeholder interviews. We've gone out and showed people what does this mean. And I should say that our preferred alternative that we have identified as part of the study is very conceptual. One of the things we based it on is how well does it improve safety? How well does it improve mobility, accessibility? And we set what we call performance measures. And so we are going to leave it open when it moves to design and construction. The plan is that maybe we look at different ways to deliver our project where such as a design build, where we go out to a contractor and design and say, this is what we want you to do. We want you to improve safety, mobility, accessibility. Here's a plan that works, but what can you deliver that does it quickly, high quality, and gives us the most bang for our buck. So I want to be cautious that what we're showing as our preferred alternative is going to change slightly as we move through the process. So we're very early on, even though we've been working on it for a long time.
Okay. If this thing goes through, what kind of headaches will the regular motorists expect?
So the goal of the study is to get improvements in North County. So after we implement these improvements, you're going to see better accessibility, mobility. So you're going to decrease in congestion. But obviously when we're during construction, it's going to be impactful. And so we'll look at ways, and that's particularly why we look at these alternative ways to deliver the project, because that's something that maybe the contractor has, great ideas of how we could make it less difficult during construction.
Okay, all right. Money. Everyone wants to know, where's the money coming from? Where's the funding coming from?
The study identified over $600 million worth of improvements on 270. Good news, we were able to secure $100 million to start this first phase of the project. It's in state fiscal year 18 and 19, so it's a ways off. At this time, I can't tell you where we're going to focus on, but it's in the works. So that's good, but I want to make sure everybody knows it's not nearly enough. And this money comes from, gas tax, right? So both state and federal gas tax is our main revenue source for funding.
Okay, now, when we first started, we did mention the meeting next Thursday. Who's going to be there? What are you going to focus on?
That's great. Yes, it's December 15th from 4 to 7 at McCluer High School. We will have the preferred alternative there, along with information of how we selected that preferred alternative. We're going to give everybody that comes to that meeting an opportunity to provide comments, either by written comments. We're going to have a court reporter there, so you could always meet one-on-one with a court reporter and tell them your comments. And we're going to also have an open mic, so it gives everybody an opportunity to speak.
Wow.
There, and then they'll have 2 minutes to give their comments. If you're unable to attend the public hearing, we're accepting comments till January 6th. You could go look at our document either online at www.i270north.org, or you can go to various libraries in the area and get that, and that information is on our website.
Wow, that's really, now that's being open and honest, what do they call it now, being
Transparent.
transparent. I hate that word.
So, you know, but the thing is, we really encourage everybody to come. It's early in the process still. It's at the planning level. Now's the time to really let your comments be heard.
Right.
Understand what we're doing, and hopefully you can see the process and how we got to the preferred alternative, because that's what the study is supposed to do. It gives you information. You set your goals. You go through this process so that you could show people how you pick the preferred alternative. It's not because somebody likes it better. It's because of the impacts to the community, and it's a decision-making tool.
Yeah, one of the biggest issues, problems a lot of people have is we weren't involved. No one told us this. Who made the decision? Which person, which committee made this decision? We weren't talked to. Now you're getting the opportunity. You're
Yes.
getting the opportunity to be involved and to say yes, no, maybe. This is how this is going to impact me. This is how it's going to impact my business, my kids, everything. So I think MODOT's doing a really good job of trying to make sure you guys are informed and can get out and let your voice be heard, right?
Yes, thank you. That's a whole process. We've gone through a very robust public engagement plan. We've had several public meetings, like I said, the community advisory group, briefings to all the stakeholders, stakeholder interviews. We actually have a technical advisory group, and that's where we invite like St. Louis County and Metro and other agencies to help us, because it's not only our system that we impact, it's all the municipalities, it's the county. 270 is one of those it's the main connector, but the impacts go through the community, especially during those evening rushes and morning rushes.
Yeah.
So.
I got a little bone to pick.
Yeah.
Just a minute, just a little bit later, but first I want to say that a few months ago, I began running on our channel the monthly MODOT Commissioners meeting, and it lasts about an hour and a half or so. I ran it for a couple of months before I actually sat down and watched it. And when I did sit down, it was so engaging after a while. You would think that that's boring. That's really boring. A meeting is boring, but these commissioners really get into this.
They do.
Really love it. And the presentations that people get up and give to the commissioners and explain things, they make it so easy for the general population to understand what's going on, what's happening, how they arrived, how they want to arrive, what kind of plans they're looking to do into the future. And I was very pleasantly surprised that that was there. I did not know that that was available until someone let me know that that meeting had been videoed and was available. And I said, sure, send it to me. And now you guys can come to our channel and watch it. It's running virtually every day until the next meeting. And
It's monthly.
Yeah, it's monthly and all throughout the state. They'll meet St. Louis, Kansas City, Springfield, wherever. Every month they'll pick a different site.
Yes, they like to get out and see the different districts. We're divided into districts for our state, so they come, and we really appreciate you running that. I think the more people that understand what our process is, the better, and how we make decisions, because they're really our guiding, guiding force, if you would say.
Yeah.
So.
And now everyone, it's more important for everyone to get involved in what's going on. National politics aside, it's your local politics. It's what's happening in your community that you need to be the most concerned about at this point. Don't worry about that other stuff. This is one of those things that you need to be concerned about. So get more information, come out, make your voice be heard, and maybe you'll make some type of impact, right?
Yes, that's the whole point. We really appreciate it, and we hope to see you next Thursday.
Okay. Now,
Hopefully, that's the long-term goal here, is to take the opportunity when we know we have to get out there to replace this aging infrastructure and make those interchange improvements that'll bring this transportation system into the future and better serve our communities. So
yeah, we know as the motoring public that our highways and roads need to be upgraded. We all know that, and everything takes time.
Yeah.
Everything has to be taken into consideration. You just can't go off half and do this. It has to. There's too many things to be looked at.
there is transportation impacts everybody's lives.
Yeah.
And what we do has truly impacts to no matter if you drive a car or not. So that's the whole point of this process. And then some people say, you've been doing this since 2010. Big transportation projects like this take decades.
Yeah.
So, and you want us to investigate what's the best way to improve your transportation system and look at the, traffic modeling and do all this. It gets the best decisions long term. So that's the whole point of this, is that we know that there's needs out here. We want to make sure that we invest our money wisely and do those improvements that need to happen. So
Okay.
it's very exciting.
I won't be at the meeting, but bike riding and metro from north to south. But we'll talk about that later.
There's lots of transportation needs, and it definitely goes beyond just vehicles.
Exactly.
That is right. That is right.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for staying with us and listening to what Lisa had to say. And hopefully we will see you Thursday, not next Thursday, because we'll be running this after that so that you can get information, because a lot of the things that she said is germane beyond next Thursday, the 15th. So come on out, and you had some.
No, comments can be made till January 6th. So yes, so Thursday is the opportunity to be there in person, but January 6th to provide any comments.
And the place to provide those comments would be?
Online.
Online
at www.I270north.org.
Okay, don't call.
You can call. You could call, and we could help you out that way too. We always call 1-888-ASK MODOT. Those 3 8s there. So anytime, and we could direct you to the right place, and more than happy. Our customer service runs 24/7.
Perfect.
So, very
Perfect.
Nice.
Well, thank you very much for coming in this morning.
Thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
No, it's great. It's my pleasure. My pleasure.